everybody, how you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Matt.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Aunt Becky. I'm Tracy.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys.
And Ghost.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone. Callie and I have just arrived at the farm on a gloomy day, but just because it's gloomy doesn't mean it's gonna be a great one, and I have a feeling today's gonna be a great day. Matthew got down here a little bit earlier than us, and he has got the farm market all set up. This time of the year, the farm market isn't too busy. However, this weekend's gonna be a little hectic. It is a holiday weekend, which means we have been doing some baking. We've got cookies here and all different types of breads. Now, we are baking here on the farm, but as a lot of you may remember, Grammy got her knee replaced, so she's not gonna be down here. We've got Mom taking over today. How's it going, Mom?
Very well.
Very well, yep. See, even when Grammy isn't here to do some baking, everybody else can step up and do it, if we have to. I mean, it's nice to have Grammy, who is kind of dedicated to just taking care of it herself. I mean, we've all got so many jobs, but it's also nice to know that any of us can step up and follow the recipes. Although sometimes those recipes are locked up here, we're trying to get her to put them all down on paper.
Yesterday I had to ask her about a recipe because one recipe said a certain amount for sugar and then the other one said another amount. So I'm like, which one is it? And she goes, you have to double the recipe and then I'll tell you.
What do you see, Callie?
Baby chickens.
A chicken?
You're good. You pet that one, see?
Yeah. What do you think of the baby chickens?
They're doing great.
You gonna say hi to the chicken?
Hi, chicken. Look at my feathers. Yeah. Wow.
As you've just seen, we got a shipment of chickens in, and Callie is really excited about that. An interesting fact about new hatch chickens is that they can actually live for a few days without food. It's kind of amazing, and they're actually able to ship them through the mail because of that. See, right before the chicken is to hatch, it eats the yolk inside the egg, and that yolk gives them enough nutrients for days. I always thought that was really, really cool. And the fact that they can ship chickens through the mail, that's also really cool. So right now we're in the one part of the storage area putting a little pen together. It is really dark in there, so it's kind of hard to see, but we want to get the chickens moved out of the boxes and into the pen as soon as possible. Now, the new chickens that arrived are not layers, they are meat birds, so we will be using them for ourselves. It's always nice to have an extra way to feed the family around. Come on, little chickens. You're coming with me. Now, as I'm unloading the chickens, I'm doing a few things here. The big thing is I'm dipping their beaks into the water. And the reason for that is just to let them know that there is water there. Sometimes you don't have to do it, but this is something that my dad's always taught us. So we try and do it every single time. We just feel like it helps out a lot. So, not that the chickens would forget where the water is. I mean, because that could happen. But we just like them to know right off the bat. And now they're associated with this little tub that we have, this little waterer, that they associate that with where the water comes from, so that's good. Another thing we like to take note of is if they're all starting to run around. As you can see, these chickens are pretty active, so that's a big plus for us. Active chickens mean healthy chickens, and by the time we get all of them moved out of the box, they'll really be moving. Another thing I'll mention, you'll see how some of them are congregating under the lights. We like to use warm water when we dip their beaks, just so they don't get a chill. Just anything we can do to make sure that they're more comfortable. What do you think of all the chickens?
Are they cute?
They're cute.
Yeah.
Want to get one?
You want to get one?
Here you go. Now tweet.
Now tweet. Callie is in love with the baby chickens. She's in there playing with them right now. She's like, peeps! The peep peeps! Daniel, can you give me a full fucked up cappy? Just got all the grain dumped into the feeders, and now I want to talk about something that I've been asked about in the past. And that's why we only have 1 or 2 breeds of cattle here on the farm. What we like to raise is Hereford and Angus, and there's many reasons for that. If I had to pick a breed that was our desired breed, it would probably be Hereford because of their temperament. They are great beef cattle, and they're just nice animals, if you could say that. Yeah, they're just nice, jolly animals. That's the right word. Herefords have a mild temperament. They also are great beef varieties with great meat quality. The only problem with Herefords, because of all the pros that they have, they do tend to be quite expensive when you're looking for calves. So we don't tend to find too many. The other breed that we mostly look for is Angus. Basically all the Angus here on the farm are an Angus Holstein cross. You will notice that not many of them have horns, but occasionally you will find some of our Angus cattle with horns. That's because some of those more Holstein traits, because they're Holstein Angus crosses, is taking over a little bit. Now the reason why Angus are so desired is their meat quality is like top tier. They have really great marbling. Another thing that people never really think about is that beef cattle are a little easier or cheaper to raise to production. So like these animals here, they fatten or they get larger off of less feed, more pasture, which is really nice. It's a lot cheaper to raise them. We do like to finish our cattle with hay, grain, and pasture. As you can see, these animals right here, they are starting to get larger. And thankfully, their temperament is on the milder side, our animals that we have here. You have to be careful with Angus because you will have some mild cattle, but you will also have some crazy ones. We are known for having some crazy Angus cattle here on the farm. So that's just 2 things that we never really talked about before, why we like these certain breeds. They're beef type breeds. They're a little easier to raise to selling, and they're just great animals all around. But yeah, if we had to really pin it down to 2, Hereford would be our most desired, but then Angus. It's like 1A, 1B. They're right up there together. I think we always have great animals. Regardless of what variety you have, you can raise all of them for what we need. Those varieties that I just mentioned are the most popular for us. We have tried other varieties in the past and we've liked them, but that's just what we tend to have around here. And that's what we tend to see from the local dairies. That's what they like to breed into. Nice and calm in here today. They're starting to get used to us. That's good because we're going to be in here quite a lot. You know, I'm so glad we have those lights over there in the barn because it is dark out today due to the overcast weather that we have. It's kind of hard to film in some of these barns and when we work in the lower section of the farm market. But for now, I mean, it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it. I'm just happy we installed those lights. That helps out a bunch. Before we head over into one of the greenhouses, I wanted to show you some more work that we've got accomplished over here. You can see that things are cleaned up pretty good. Now, it's not 100% perfect, but that's okay. We don't need 100% just yet. We got more of these large blocks. They weigh about 1,500 pounds, and we're gonna use them as a wall right against here. They use these for barns all over the place. They're really, really heavy. So what we're doing is building a wall with them as we go down through here, and we'll be able to utilize this space so much more. And if anybody was curious how much we made off the scrap metal, the answer is not that much for what we took. It was more of an opportunity to clean things up. Usually we like to hold on to the scrap metal till the price shoots up a little bit, but couldn't do that this time, and it is what it is. You gotta make do with what you have, and we needed room, so the scrap metal needed to go. Oh yeah, look at greenhouse number 6, all cleared out. Isn't this beautiful? We have all this room in here for hanging baskets, and we're running out of space in the other greenhouses, so we need to get the baskets moved over here as soon as possible. So that's kind of what we're working on right now, getting everything put into place so that we can get it all cleaned up and looking nice. We just got finished pulling up some weeds that were along this side of the greenhouse. We also got the shovel and scooped up some corn that was in here from some corn that we were storing over winter. Now we're all ready to move baskets in here. We just got to find which baskets we want to move. And talking with the boys, we've all decided that we have a few baskets on this line that need to be moved. We have a few here, and then some cone baskets all the way up at the front. And then this middle section of tables that we have, all the baskets on these middle sections need to be moved. So all of that over there, we're gonna be taking over to greenhouse number 6. It's gonna be a lot of walking and a lot of work, but at least it'll make more room for us to use later on. While I'm in here, I'll show you some of the vegetables that we had transplanted recently and how they're growing. We have our lettuces that are getting ready for selling. These will be ready to go in no time. We've got green leaf lettuce, butterhead lettuce, head lettuce, red leaf lettuce, romaine lettuce, butterhead lettuce, red leaf lettuce, more romaine, and more head. Then we have some parsley, curly, and flat leaf, our orange habaneros. I'll give you a close-up look on these things. Woo-hoo-hoo. Spicy, spicy. They take a lot longer to grow, so we like to get them started earlier. Down from our red habaneros, we have our ghost chilies. Then we have jalapeno, long hot. We have Cubanelle peppers. We have our mixed colored bells, our regular bell peppers, our sweet Italian, and then all the way down here is more sweet Italian. A little further into the greenhouse, we have some tomatoes. We have mountain fresh tomatoes, big boy tomatoes, early girl tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, Goliath tomatoes, and finishing off with red deuce. And then finishing off, last but not least, we have some broccoli and cabbage here. It's certainly not everything that we're gonna be transplanting and selling when it comes to vegetables, but it's a good start. All the hangers for these cone baskets are mangled and twisted together, so you gotta break them all apart first. It takes a while. Come on.
The way I'm looking at it is there's not enough waters for up there.
Oh boy. Who said 4 sections? Matt. Matt's in trouble. Confirmed.
This one's got it down.
Hang this right here. Probably now. That looks better. It's not as crowded now. That honestly looks like what I remember. After you work in these greenhouses for a while, you really start to realize how amazing these buildings are. And I don't know if I could even use the word building. I mean, all this place is just pipes connected together and plastic. But I guess that makes it even cooler because all you need is the pipes and plastic, a few other attachments, and you can have a building or an area where you can house tons of plants. And because of the heaters and the fans that we have put in place, we can regulate the temperature to grow basically anything we want inside. I remember when I was young and we put up these greenhouses down here. It's amazing we've grown to the size we have, but it's cool to think about how everything gets put together. One of my favorite features about these greenhouses is something you may never have thought about. If you look at this plastic, this isn't the roof or the top of the greenhouse. There's actually another layer of plastic on the outside. And in between the two plastics is a pocket of air that does many things. The biggest thing it does is it acts as insulation. It also pushes against the outer layer of plastic to make sure that when we get heavy winds or bad weather, it doesn't rip it off. Once you have everything put in place, this pocket of air, it helps out a ton. What we'll do is continuously blow air in between here so that we can regulate our temperature and make sure if we get some bad weather, nothing bad will happen. But that's something a lot of people don't even realize when they're walking through these greenhouses, how far everything is pushed out. Again, another thing that I just find really cool, it's amazing how simple these buildings can be, but also how careful you have to be with these buildings because there's a lot of stuff in here. I mean, if we were to lose all this stuff, this would be really bad. But the fact that these greenhouses are running good is a testament to how much upkeep we put into them and how much we pay attention and focus on everything that gets done in here. So we got all our cone baskets moved over. Now we're on to something else. We have just our regular green hanging baskets, and there is a ton of these that have to get moved over as well. The right side of the greenhouse is now all hung up. We just have to go through and put the waters in the correct basket. We have all these drip lines. We still have to go up top yet. We have another line right here, but we're just gonna get the sides taken care of first. All I'm saying, Daniel, is if you gave me the option to eat pizza every day or burgers every day, I'm picking burgers.
You can put meat on a pizza.
Yeah, so? You can do everything with a burger. You can have veggie burgers. You can probably make a pizza burger. I'd rather eat burgers over pizza. Just because you like pizza doesn't mean that it's better than burgers.
Just because I'm right doesn't mean you gotta argue with me.
Oh, fine. I guess we're arguing later. We've now got the far left and far right side of the greenhouse filled up with baskets. We do have a line right above my head that we're gonna get started working on now. It is a little more difficult because of how high up it is, but we have tools that we can use. Probably thinking to yourself, whoa, Andrew, what crazy tool do you have there? This is a pipe with a bolt on it. Works really good. That's exactly what I need it to. At the end of the day doing this though, your arm will get tired, especially when these baskets are a lot larger. You're holding 20 to 25 pounds on the end of one of these poles when you're taking them down. It will wear you out. We just got the call that it is time to eat, so we're gonna head up. Before I do that, if you look at the hangers on each one of these baskets, we have them facing the pole that they're hanging on. And the reason for that is so that when we grab them with either this tool or by our hands, they easily come off. We don't have to fight them. Speaking of lunchtime, look at this. All the way over on the hill, the cattle are enjoying some grass. We also got the horses down in the pasture. You can see the grass is really starting to turn green. Oh, they're gonna be using that up. It's lunchtime.
My alarm did not go off yet.
Oh, we got a call that it was lunchtime, so we're heading up to eat.
I'm with you guys.
Oh, okay, come on, Matt. Matthew is up here helping Aunt Rhonda and Aunt Bonnie with everything that they need. Filling up trays, moving trays. Look at all this stuff that's been transplanted. Remember how tiny those starts were? Well, look at them now. Everything in these packs has been transplanted into them by the girls and by us. It's a lot of transplanting going on. Time is flying. These baskets will be moving out of here shortly. Up here in the kitchen, there's a lot going on. As you know, Mom, she was working on doing some bacon, but guess who else was helping her? Oh, Grandpa's up here making apple pies. And for lunch today, it looks like we are having, excuse me, meatball hoagies. Yum, yum. We just got finished with lunch and Callie has been in here trying to get as many people as possible to play with her. So playing with Callie is very important to her right now. She's had Gavin in here, Tracy, Matthew, myself, but that's okay. We like playing with Callie. I wanted to show you what's going on in the kitchen. We mentioned they were making pies. We got a few pies over here. Dad is still working on making pies, and then you got Mom over here also working on blueberry pies.
The extraordinary heat that created the panic over this earth. The skydivers jumped out of 2 airplanes.
Now that we're all finished with lunch, we're just gonna be heading down around back and continuing to hang up baskets. Before we do that, I'm gonna run up and check on the Germination greenhouse first. I wanna make sure everything is okay in there. It is getting pretty chilly outside and we haven't had any sunshine today. So we just wanna make sure it's warm enough. And not too bad, sitting at about 80 degrees. So our tomatoes that we had recently seeded half trays of, they've done a really nice job at germinating. Everything looks beautiful and the plants are actually growing much faster than I thought they would. That's probably due to the conditions that we have here in this Germination greenhouse. But you can see the little open section that we have between each variety to make sure that we don't get them mixed up. I think Daniel did a nice job with seeding all of these, and the fact that we have a nice dividing line in a lot of these trays, well, that's just gonna make it easier on all of us. We also have some peppers over here that are taking their time germinating. Peppers do take a little bit longer than some other crops that we raise, but they're still fun to seed. And then one final thing you may notice is that our onions got a haircut. Yeah, we went through and clipped off all the tops of the onions and the leeks so that they can continue to grow nice and not just be looking bad all fell over. This is gonna help them grow. After we got finished with work, Callie and I made our way home. We are now hanging out, getting ready to make dinner together. Tonight we're having chicken with rice, some peas, and I think we've got some other stuff thrown about here. But yeah, we're getting ready to make dinner. And since we're getting ready to make dinner, that does mean this is where we're gonna end the video today. If you have not already, don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to reach 200K. Also, liking the video helps us out a ton. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.